Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on issue 55 of the Sonic the Hedgehog IDW comics. Now, before we go, we finally did it. We reached 1.k subscribers, and I want to thank to my subscribers and my fans for supporting me and helping me throughout the years when I first started, as well as my friends who have subscribed to my channel. Now, pretty much, let's go on with the story. The cover mainly has Sonic and Tails running from Metal, with Scourge sort of being afraid and Eggman looking angry. And the story mainly starts off with Surge using the Dynamo case to use every power in Starline's former hideout to get juiced up. And we see Kitsumi saying, "Oh, sorry, the breaker was overloaded until it restarted. We're on emergency power."
Fine, he'll do for now. Gotta be ready. Sonic won't leave us alone so long as we're not marching in lockstep with him. We could run or hide. No, this is where it ends. And this is where we know Surge is going to take this as a personal matter of war. So of course, we see that Sonic and Tails find Starline's base that was originally Eggman's during the whole Bad Guy saga. And of course, as soon as they try to look through, Metal shows up with Eggman saying, "Blasted Metal! I didn't say you could run off! Get back here, And of course, this is where we see how Eggman uses his Egg Walker to try and go after Metal. And of course, we kind of see how Sonic tries to talk with Metal, saying that he hasn't been this tense in a while, and he even talks about how she gave a break for Belle. And of course, this is where we try to talk with him, and of course, this is where we see him saying, he's here, figures, alright, go time. Metal, I'm not giving up on you yet." And of course, thanks to Tails helping Sonic, we kind of see Sonic getting a bit of a breather. And as soon as Eggman tries to show up, he says, "Always with the running. Fine, a shortcut it is." And of course, this is where he finds out that Starline did a lot of modifications around the abandoned base. And you can tell he finds out where the Dynamo case is and tries to kind of shoot down Surge. And of course, we kind of see Surge saying, "Bad news, old man. I'm not laying you off easy this time. Get off my machine. Robots, hold her down." And of course, this is where we see her now using Wisp energy, which also makes it a deadly mix. And we kind of see how Eggman tries to use every tactic in his Egg Walker, but of course, everything he does, Surge always has a counter effect. And we see him saying, "Cute, very cute." And of course, tries to burn her down, only for Surge to kind of use another Wisp-like energy. And of course, we see her saying, "More needs more. Yes!" And this is where she basically uses a sort of green-like crystal, shatters it, that only boosts her up. And we see how Eggman tries to use one of his former sort of escape routes, but of course, Eggman's unaware that Starline has modified it and everything else, saying, "Hello, Doctor. You found my secret message. How exhilarating. I prepared this just for you." I like how Eggman thinks, "Oh, crap." And this is where Surge is now going to do this, take great pleasure in this. And of course, just as Metal is taking down Sonic and Tails, we see Eggman saying, "Stay back, you fiend!" And of course, this is where Sonic points out that this doesn't sound good. And of course, this is basically Metal needing to help his creator. And we kind of see Eggman trying to talk with Surge, saying that he can be of great help. But of course, we see how Surge tries to take on Metal, pushes Eggman aside, and saying, "You think your pet robot can beat me? I've chewed through more of you rust buckets than I can count." And this is where we kind of see how Surge gets outnumbered. And this is where she now panics and tries to flee, saying, "They're working together." And this is where her PTSD kicks in. And of course, we kind of see Kitsumi trying to talk with her, and her saying, "I'm not enough. Never enough. Never. I can find you on the cameras. I don't know what to do." Eggman and Sonic are working together. The plan is still work. It has to. Is everything ready? I've locked down all the other routes in the base. And of course, this is where we kind of see Eggman pointing out to Sonic that he's only here to get the Dynamo case back. And we see Sonic saying, "So that's what the fancy hat is about? It's not a hat." And of course, this is where we see Sonic and Tails talking about working with Eggman. But of course, we kind of see how Eggman and Metal are their only chance due to Metal copying data and Eggman being a second genius. But of course, Sonic's plans to smash the Dynamo case if anything happens. And we kind of see how Eggman and Sonic do agree to work together, and knowing it's a deal. So of course, they kind of inspect around the base, and they find to their surprise Starline's hideout, where he's been creating Scourge and Kitsumi. And of course, this is where Tails says, "Oh, what is this? He was processing our data on our lives, trying to identify a pattern. Creepy, why? I think so he could make us, but following his designs." Now, fun fact, Surge's designs are pretty much based on concepts that Ian Flynn and the IDW team did, so kind of implying that some of Starline's schematics were early prototypes or just earlier versions, so meaning that there's more than one Surge running around. And this is where we kind of see how Eggman comments on Starline's brilliance, and even points out how he kind of is also, Eggman pointing out, one of the finest minds he ever seen. And we kind of see how Tails points out that he was brainwashing and kidnapping people, and even points out that Starling just wanted him to recognize him, and even points out that he is also responsible for it for happening. But one, we saw how Starline's approval seeking and how he wanted to prove to Eggman that he was better than him got the better of him. And two, his death was also meant to have a meaning that trying to prove yourself can always make you set yourself up for a hard fall. But of course, just as they head further in, they try to talk with Surge and also Kitsumi, only to meet them, and Surge saying, "Too bad. It's up, not you, to you then." And of course, this is where we see them trying to duke it out now. And yeah, the next issue is obviously going to have Surge eventually defeated. So, in my opinion, issue 55 is kind of alright. Like I said, this is a rare moment where we do see Eggman and Sonic teaming together to try and clear up Starline's mess. And I know Tails is quick to point out about Eggman not recognizing Starline, despite the fact that Starline was shown to make costly mistakes, never admitted his own faults, and was shown to be a bad decision maker. But I think this issue still deserves thumbs in the middle. It's alright as a 55 issue, but it's still a bit of a lackluster. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.